Shalom, shalom, mishpachah. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. This is Movies and Entertainment Part 5, and I'm going to be talking about humor. So here we go. One should seek out universally clean and tasteful humor and avoid humor that glorifies, plays off of things that the Torah prohibits, such as racism, fornication, and things that shame or ruin others' reputations or careers. In other words, humor can be a form of lashon hara, an evil tongue, and we need to distance ourselves from this in the real world and even in our choices of entertainment viewing. So such shows as South Park and Family Guy can play humor and glorify humor in regards to sexuality and racism and things that, and even kind of potty humor, gross humor, bathroom humor. So we should seek out more of slapstick, sight gags, and mistaken identity is always funny, but sexually inappropriate humor and innuendos are not. And every individual needs to know when potty humor crosses the line and becomes obscene and just plain gross. A belch, a flatulent, it's humorous. Why is it humorous? It's humorous when we're a little kid because when somebody lets what I used to call as a little kid a stinker, everybody giggles and everybody laughs. It's an accident and sometimes it happens and it's a little embarrassing, but you get over it and go on. But when that crosses the line where it's not just flatulence, but they actually visually show vomit or they visually show excrement, and they put it in a humorous situation and it's all over the room or people's hands, that's just sickening and that's just gross and that's just uncalled for, and you should. It's not even funny. That's when it crosses the line and it's not funny anymore and it becomes gross. Now, every individual are going to have different standards in regarding regarding this. Maybe a fart, maybe that word is even offensive to some. That was offensive to my mother growing up. But even a flatulent might be offensive to somebody, but it may not necessarily be offensive to somebody else. It's just a bodily function that happens. So let's just kind of move on. So we've already established that humor that plays on sexual innuendos, that plays on sexuality, that plays on racism, or that tears down or degrades another person is a form of lashon hara, an evil tongue, and it's not humor that we should involve ourselves with or participate in. But just like clean universal humor, a good clean joke, a sight gag or slapstick like the Three Stooges or the Marx Brothers or things like that are acceptable. Now I'm going to deal with the touchy subject of satirical comedy. So let me just read for you what I have. Satirical comedy is the most fiercely attacked, but should be taken with a grain of salt and be age appropriate. The reason people get offended by satire is because they take it literally and seriously, when in fact such comedy is meant to highlight an injustice or a double standard in a humorous way so as to slap us with a shock of reality, and yet, as Mary Poppins, it's a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down. So we need to be very careful when we're dealing with satirical comedy. If there's satire or something that's satirical, is the comedy meant to highlight an injustice and to bring across a point, whether it be morally or politically, or is the satire really not satire and it's really an attack on racism or an attack on a particular people group or a particular religious group, or it's full of sexual innuendos and improprieties. So these are the things that we need to think about and filter through our mind, filter through the Torah, and come to terms with before we view certain comedies that are available, whether they be on television or the internet or DVD or what have you. So that is my take regarding movies. Now I'm going to kind of wrap up this series, movies and entertainment, and ask, does one size fit all? Well, I think I established in the very first video that my standards and my opinions may not reflect those of everybody out there, or all the believers or Torah observant believers out there. I'm not ultra-conservative, yet I'm not ultra-liberal. I try my best to fall in between and to to filter things through the Torah, through the scriptures, and try to make appropriate choices in my entertainment and viewing. I ask myself, what is the message of this film? What's this film trying to say to me? What's the message trying to bring across? Is it trying to say that, is it trying to say that vigilantism is okay? Is it trying to say that genocide is okay? Is it trying to say that rape is okay, or abuse of women is okay? Is it trying to say that drug use is okay? Or is it trying to say we need to keep up a fight against evil, or we need to be aware of social injustice against people's race or religion? We need to fight for truth and justice, or what's the message? What is it trying to bring across? Is it something philosophical? Is it something hedonistic? Is it something angsty or existential? Or is it humanitarian? What is the message, and what are we to get out of it? And once we have the answer to that, how does it apply to the scriptures? How do we filter that through Torah? Once we've done that, how can we apply that message? If it's a good and positive message, how can we apply it to our life? So, not one size fits all. My standards and the guidelines that I've given may be different from somebody else's. To some, I may be totally liberal and loosey-goosey in their opinion. To others, I may be totally prude and strict to a crazy degree in their eyes. So everybody has different tastes, different strokes for different folks, but I do believe that the Torah gives moral absolutes and universal guidelines that we go by, and I've tried my best to establish those and bring those out and bring those to light in viewing. One of my main things that I try to emphasize in this video series is that you should be very educated about what you watch and what you view. Read what the critics say, especially if it's a critic that's Christian or Jewish. What do they say about it? What red flags do they throw up, and things that they say that you need to watch out for in this movie? What is the message? As I said before, if it is a movie that does have language, do you have the capabilities technologically to be able to filter it out through the V-chip or through a device that is made for that? Same with violence and nudity. We need to question ourselves: is it sensual nudity or is it anthropological nudity? The violence, is it justifiable violence, or is it just senseless, random, fleshly gratifying, gross train wreck violence? The language, is it one of these languages where a word slips out in a stressful situation in the movie, or is it just profanity that just rolls off the tongue and just kind of keeps going and never stops? The humor, is it clean, is it tasteful, or is it satirical? And if it's satirical, is it trying to bring across a point of truth? So these are the kind of things that I've tried to establish as guidelines in movie and viewing entertainment. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series. I hope it's helped you to reevaluate what you watch, what your diet is, because you are what you eat. Physically, spiritually, you are what you eat. Whatever you ingest through the gate of the eyes or the gate of the ears, eventually that has to go to the heart and is filtered through the heart and spirit. And just like you wouldn't take a glass of water with 1 drop of cyanide in it because it's poison, you wouldn't take a glass of water with rat poison in it because it would poison your system. Whether it be little by little or kill you right off the bat, you wouldn't take it. So same spiritually. In the movies we watch, why ingest something that is spiritually decadent and spiritually harmful to our spiritual well-being? Because if it is sinful and we're indulging in that and we are giving place to that, we give place to Hasatan, we give place to the devil, we put a wedge between our relationship and our closeness and our connectedness with God, with Yeshua, with the Ruach HaKodesh, and our spiritual discernment is dulled. Our spiritual senses are dulled, just like somebody becoming deaf and blind because of poor eating habits, because maybe they have diabetes and they're not taking care of themselves. So spiritually, it's the same thing. I'm running out of time here, so I'm just going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks for watching. Shalom and Shavuot Tov. Bye.